are couples out there who are together and it's working.
What they say, the good takes care of itself, right? That's a saying I've heard mentioned before. So it's almost as if those couples don't make news. Those people who are solid, they have their challenges, they've been married for 30 years, 25 years, different age groups. I meet those people, I know those people, I'm socialized around those people. And it's kind of normal as part of my world, but that's not headline news. That's not the people who are speaking necessarily. That's not the most common voices that you will hear in the public space around relational issues. They're not necessarily invited on as experts or guests. The conflict, the clash, that seems to be the norm because that's what sells, that's what moves the algorithms. But yeah, they exist in the Black community, and they're all around us. They are all around us.
You hear that, guys? Because some people don't think it exists, and I do share the positive narratives on this show because I want people to know that there are couples out there, and couples in sickness. There's couples where the man's looking after, the Black man looks after his wife, his partner. So many positive images out there, Hugh. So that's why it's such a pleasure to have you on the show, looking at how we see us and mixing that in with what men want women to know, because the in-house, Hugh, the in-house stereotypes are called how we see each other, the lens that we're wearing to view one another. Men, how they view women, women, how they view men. Some people are operating through a negative, this filtering system, it's negative, how they see Black men, for example. So we're here, we're inclusive, no gender bias. So talking about men, there's a man trying to date, and he's saying that you mentioned the list, and men are saying that there's this list, and they have to tick this list off of requirements. So men are saying the dating is hard out there for the grown man. Women are not understanding what men need out here. Now, do you hear that narrative from men? And any thoughts, anything you can share? Ladies are listening, which is really cool. The fact I'm inviting particular Black men on to have these discussions. So Hugh, we're listening. Any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that there is a difference between the 20-something into their 30s or the 40-something into their 50s as well. You know, there's a kind of generational, there's a different experience or a different plane. I think for young people, the terrain is much more hostile, generally speaking. There's more demands because there's a kind of a mixture of two worlds meeting, the traditional and the modern. So the young women are educated. Many of them have positions or, you know, careers and things of this nature. But they still have that, they have that modern thing about, you know, I want to work outside the home. I want to, you know, I pursue my own career. I can buy all these things for myself. I don't need a man. So they're starting from that position. But at the same time, if they want to be with somebody in a serious way, he has to earn more or, you know, earn the same as them. And I think one of the biggest challenges is that, you know, because of hypergamy, of this dating upwards, right? You know, men don't get into their financial stride, or they don't peak financially till they're in their 40s. So usually when you in the past, when, you know, people were 20-something and they met together, it was normal for a guy to, you know, be on a certain income, for example, socioeconomic income, and it wasn't really a big deal. It was just, you know, you kind of crack on with a woman around your own age group. But now the demands is so much for, you know, men to be high flyers or this kind of career guy, and it's not really realistic for men of a certain age. Some of them just come out of uni with a whole load of debt and things of that nature, but he's still supposed to be, you know, financially solidified. He's just come out of uni with debt. So that's where it's tough. But I think with the people in their 40s going into their 50s and things of that nature, everybody's established, everybody's, you know, secure to some degree. I think that women's demands start to, you know, second time around, maybe had a few children, just want to meet someone they can couple up with and see the game out, just see some joy and just, you know, couple up with. The demand, that list is more realistic, and it starts to get trimmed down.
This is interesting.
So it should be easier to be compatible at an older age, or there might be different challenges because people might have brought a few bags, a few bits of luggage. You know, the old Samson, suitcase full of issues from the past. That's what if you can't leave that behind, and you try to bring that into the other relationship, the new relationship, that's when it might be. That might be the more challenge. But the socio-economic should be less of an issue at that stage.
Right. Well, we have these conversations, Hugh, and the listeners, listeners are, I used to say big people, and the elders told me not to say big people. I say grown-up listeners. They listen. There's a lot of problems happening with the so-called grown-ups, and we're going to get into that after the break, what men want women to know, touch on the dating games, and definitely we're going to touch on the Kevin Samuels, because I think it all links to what we've been talking about here. So guys, do stay connected. We are talking to Hugh Mayers. Hugh, just checking in with you, how you're feeling right now, because we're going to go to a break shortly. How you feeling right now, Hugh?
Feeling good. Feeling good.
You're feeling good.
Feeling good. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Talking relationship by Hugh Mayers, who's joining us, and we are going through these topic areas that you guys want to hear about, how we see us, what men want women to know, dating games and dilemmas, and we're also going to, guys, talk about Kevin Samuels. So for those who don't know, Kevin Rashawn Samuels was an American internet personality, YouTuber, and image consultant. Now, he rose to popularity in 2020 through his popular YouTube channel, where he discussed issues, relationships, and notably, he gave advice to women about relationships, dating. He looked at the all-important gender issues. Now, Hugh, he was considered, as you know, Kevin Samuels was considered controversial, particularly by Black women.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you let us know your thoughts on the whole Kevin Samuels and how it links to also how Black men and women see one another, what men want women to know, dating games, and do you think Kevin Samuels was a hero? Do you think he was part of the problem? So any thoughts? Over to you, Hugh. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I think my thoughts about Kevin Samuels is, I'll own my bias. I actually think that much of what he did was genius in terms of his image, the brand, the actual GQ image that he projected, and being like an articulate, intelligent brother. Mm-hmm. He did some bold things, which was in the culture and the wave which we have been experiencing as Black communities in the West. He talked about the arts, things like color purple, and he's talked about the color purplification of the Black community. Nothing going on but the rent, ain't got no scrubs. Quite pivotal songs, right? And movies that have certain ideas that, like the film, I don't know if anybody's a film buff, but they know that film about Birth of a Nation, right? That was made to promote Ku Klux Klan ideas about, rallying Black people. Rallying white Americans because there's this danger, the Black male, right? This malevolent, deviant Black male. And, Kevin kind of rose the argument, or pushed forward the argument, that really, in terms of the image of the Black male, yeah, that's what's being pushed in the modern era with these films and these, these scrubs and these, Mr. from Color Purple, like that. This Black man is just a monster. He's just a beast and just a barbarian. So he was able to bring his argument into the space to say, look, we need to project ourselves different as men, but two, we're a little bit more complex than the bell hooks and the feminists have been really giving us credit. There's more levels to us as men, right? And so we're aware of what it is you want. You have a shopping list, right? And you have told us exactly what you want and will not tolerate as Black women. Fine. Well, have you ever considered what we want? And then this is where we get into that muddy waters, or where people are triggered, because it's like, well, what do you bring to the table? And people go buck wild about that, because those, even if it wasn't that language, that concept was only used kind of like unilaterally. It was only used in one direction. Right, so obviously Kevin raised the bar by saying, look, there's two people involved, two heterosexual people involved. A woman has needs, a woman has demands, she has preferences, she has no what's the word I'm looking for? Non-negotiables. But so too do men.
So what would you say?
Quiet as it was kept.
I'm going to put this to you then, because obviously women are listening as well, and I'm going to put this to you. So to the women who say that Kevin Samuels humiliated Black women, because I've got to say this because women have been saying that Kevin Samuels and his legacy was that of some humiliated black women and provided entertainment on the internet. This isn't my view. This is what a lot of women are saying about Kevin Samuels.
All right.
Yeah.
I've said this to friends privately and I've said it publicly. I would never say the things that he said in the way he said it because I'm a therapist. Yeah. And obviously him being a life coach and a YouTuber, it's a different ballgame. There was very like non-therapeutic approaches to giving information and you know, challenging or questioning or whatever the case may be. So in that sense, at times he was, I wouldn't say he wasn't only necessarily rude as much as he was very direct. He didn't sugarcoat. He cut to the point. But there's an element of entertainment. It's not a private consultation. If you want a private consultation, then, you know, as an adult, you would do that. But if you sign up to speak to somebody live and direct and have a back and forth and challenge them and they challenge you, and then you've kind of, you know, as two adults, consenting adults, you've kind of signed up for that. I think that he won't be really probably understood in the time that he was. But it's, you know, some things age better with time. But yeah, he wasn't popular for no apparent reason. And lots of people go around just abusing black women and using the B word and the H word and all kind of words, and they don't necessarily go viral. So I think there's layers to this, and there's complexity to this. So I think it was more than just simply making black women the victim. They were intelligent, educated women, but he was trying to explain. You've only been looking at one side of the equation, and this is why you might be getting a particular result. If you know that you want a man that fits into this class, this education level, this age bracket, this physical level of fitness, this body fat requirement, so he must have a six-pack. You got all these requirements. But if Kevin says, okay, height, weight, dress size, straight away you're patriarchal, straight away that's misogynist. It's like, are we two equal adults in a space, or is this, are we being serious? Let's be serious. They must be the man that's like, so he always talked about the high value man, this guy that's on six figures, right?
Yeah.
So that's the one that popularly women were, you know, attracted to or describing. That's the ideal man. So he's saying, or he was arguing that, and what do you think these men want? You know, they have a list or a criteria as well. Might be part physical, might be more attitudinal as well, because that's what I think for most men, regardless of their social standing, their age, or their social economic bracket or whatever class you find them in. What's the word I'm looking for? A woman that is cooperative, is submissive, is priceless.
And the whole submissive word that came up for us when we had these conversations, Hugh. Oh, that word is a dirty word. But I think a euphemism for submissive, because submissive sounds like submit. Like, I mean, women submit to men, right? And men submit to women in lots of different ways, right? But it just sounds, maybe it triggered a bell of like mentally vacant, docile. I think of that film Coming to America, when there's a lady that's gonna marry Prince Hakeem, and she's, what do you like? Well, I like what you like. Well, what do you like to do? I like to do what you like. Like, she didn't have her own mind. I don't think submissive means that. I think submissive in a context that men use it means submissive like, she respects my leadership. We go back and forth. She share her ideas, but she'll cooperate with me when we need to get to a destination, you know. And I'm leading. She'll give me advice and feedback, but then she'll step back and say, you know what? He doesn't have to prove at every juncture he knows what he's doing. I'm going to trust the process. He's my man. I picked him. Yes.
Just like when we're intimate and he takes a certain lead or whatever, there's a certain submissiveness that women exemplify when it's the kind of highest physical contact or part of a human interaction. On a spiritual level, I'm submissive then. And likewise in our relational sphere, you know, there's times I'm going to share my opinion. I'm going to make my voice known. I've got a brain, but as his woman, or as his wife, I'm going to, you know, he's going to lead.